it's been a very busy week, but we're doing very well.
I can imagine. Money is coming. You are looking $1 million today.
I'm into that.
You are even setting $1 million.
So this fugu is from
Can you
which part of
Honestly, I don't even know.
The geezer just came from doing galamsey.
I came from a convention, a religious convention. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, we're having our annual convention today, and I'm a host on our ultra-modern Muslim television.
Yeah.
So I just had to dash in to come because it's an important topic.
And he suggested this topic.
Yeah,
Did
know?
I suggest it?
I think he instigated it.
I know. Did I instigate it?
So they are saying.
I can't remember.
So they are saying.
Yeah, but it's a very instructive.
But you missed Mr. Frimpong.
No, I was listening.
Oh, you were listening on your way. Good.
I started listening from the beginning of the program, so I'm quite updated to the education and everything that he said on the show.
You know, the part you mentioned about the merchant. I know this week, for instance, there are a couple of people that thought that they found a way to get away with that. Asma, or how do you say it in Ghana? It's actually in the works. You know, so it's a very good one. I know one of the things within the last few weeks or months, I've seen the banks, banks, been very interested in the arts and the creative industry. Yeah. Of course, there are some of them that will not change, but there are some of them that are really looking forward to taking advantage of the December. December numbers that are coming in. Yeah, so they've started a number of this. And I'm glad to say that there's some very good conversations that, for instance, I and First Atlantic Bank have been having, which I'm really hopeful that, you know, and they look set as one of the banks that will take the lead in taking advantage of the growing creative industry and making the most of it. Really looking forward to that, you know, and also because they also have a merchant account. They've got a whole tech that we're looking to build a whole ticketing platform on, you know. So I'm sure a number of the other banks, I thought it was a secret. But now we have to let the cat out of the bag. Since
Sadiq is shamelessly plucking First Atlantic, let me also say that we are bringing back work by Jeke. So if there's any bank out there, Ghana Commercial Bank, do something before you die.
I'm just kidding. Even First Atlantic,
yeah. So George.
Yes.
May I have my bite?
Yes, have your bite, my brother. Go ahead. I mean, since you did follow the conversation. I think that's unfair.
I didn't instigate this conversation.
No, it doesn't matter. You can still have a bite. It doesn't matter.
Yes, we've been
talking.
No, you cannot have your meal.
And I am happy about the education, because a lot of us in the creative space did not know that there are so many exemptions that we could benefit from. And you see, again, I would.
But I don't know. It's also instructive, the point that I made.
Yeah.
That thing that should be taken seriously about the fact that between January to November, there's a certain
lull
in
pressure.
Yes, exactly.
So, generally,
even if you give this exemption, once there's a lull regardless.
But you see, it's almost
the only thing is that the only thing is that
it's hold on.
It is VAT is not cheap. It's 18.5.
It is almost gentlemen. Hold on, Sadiq, that argument
when VAT was introduced.
Chief, hold on. That argument is almost debatable because I would say it's debatable because, you know, there are theater shows that still get full houses.
Yeah. No, George, you didn't hear what I said. You can see a full. Okay, I'm sure you probably saw a full house, relatively full house at 3 music hours, and even the VGMs.
Yes,
but you and I know, and even Samini's experience.
That's what I was coming to.
Yes,
that is what I was coming to. That it is what we choose to put into the event.
Yeah,
vis-a-vis what we know we will get out of the event.
Exactly.
Because of it, it's like sowing seed. You know that this money that you're putting here is not coming back. It's like building a house and putting money in the foundation. You know, it's concrete. It's going.
George, for a lot of the first time events, particularly those that are building a brand towards the future, it's fine. It's understandable that you get some you would hit some negative. Yeah. And then obviously beyond that, sometimes you try to measure the percentage of the negative, you know, depending on your first year, second year, and then you build it up. But this is becoming a concern also because it's not only affecting the first time or second time events; it's affecting events that have been around for a while.
Yeah,
you know, and it's a trend that must really be considered. It's affecting events that are matured and have gotten to the point where
affecting events?
The negative ticket sales.
Oh, the ticket sales.
Yeah, ticket
Negative.
sales. Yeah,
Why?
and then obviously there's, I mean, again, there's a lot of factors. I mean, I'm sure one of the days we can go into it very well.
No,
Why
I
are
actually
people-
would
why are
want us to
people
go, but
refusing
Uncle
to
Ken,
buy tickets?
Uncle Ken Sadiq, hold on. It's
Myself
something
and
I
George,
think
we've
we should
spoken
go
about- myself
into.
and George, we've
But
spoken about
let's
it,
hear Chief Mumin's bite on the e-levy convo, and then we can go. I mean, that ticket conversation, I'm interested. But
Yeah. I mean, we've had it before.
George, well, I mean, I'll take it from the macro, before we bring it down to the entertainment industry. But I think that we don't have sufficient data yet to be able to truly evaluate the impact of e-levy on our economy.
Yeah.
The general impact of e-levy on the economy would affect the entertainment industry too. So if we
Definitely.
see that there is, a reduction in transaction and volumes, then we know that it would affect the industry in such that people may not be willing to buy tickets, through using e-levy. And we know this our industry is not just music and all of that. Yeah, people running all sort of business on Instagram. Someone just selling stuff, and those people, they don't use merchants accounts. They use their individual accounts. A lot of them, and these are all the people that the government is trying to bring into the tax bracket.
That's
But
right.
I personally don't think that e-levy is going to do much for this economy. I think that the government has oversold it, and they've raised too much expectations right from the time of the controversy around whether it should be passed or not. Almost everything was being said of what the e-levy could do that it even became a joke, And so I think that the government is overpromising. And I think that the government should have learnt from its experience while campaigning, to come into government, because one of the bigger issues facing this government is a perception problem. And I think that the reason why they had to bring in the e-levy is not really about the volumes of the money they were going to make. I don't think e-levy is going to contribute that much money into the economy, even though
They
they
actually
said
put out a
initially
target.
they were
They
expecting
targeted,
$7 billion. A lot of analysts I had said 6 to 7. That's about $1 billion. And one of the analysis I had was that it wasn't about the amount of money in the e-levies in the Momo space. It was so for example, if someone sends 1,000 cedis and that 1,000 cedis is sent multiple times, so they calculated all that value and said this is what we're expecting. That's what I heard some analysts say. But we are at this point because over the past couple of years, government is able to borrow, at the beginning of every year, almost $3 billion to finance its budget. But this year that couldn't happen because the international capital markets are close to government, and they are close to government because there's a perception out there that Ghana may be able to default on its loans because it is borrowing too much. So government was facing or is facing a perception problem that it has managed the economy in such a way that it has become over reliant on borrowing, and locally we are not producing enough value, so our economy is not robust. So our debt to GDP ratio is almost hitting 80%. So we are borrowing as much value as we are creating in the economy. So the major problem that we've seen in the last couple of months that's leading to inflation, the rise in prices, everything is all down to perception. Perception is making the cedi depreciate against the dollar, and we know that in an economy like this that is extremely import dependent, everything is benchmarked on the dollar. So far as the dollar continues to appreciate, from 6 to 7 to 8, what it means is that it is going to affect everything, because fuel prices are an important component of our economy, which also affects everything. And we buy refined fuel in dollars. So if the people bringing in the fuel are paying in dollars, it means that once the dollar is going high, they need more cedis. It will put pressure. So at the end of the day, it's a perception problem. I think the true reason why this government pushed through e-levy is in order to restore some confidence in its ability to control the economy. If you read any of the articles that came out, Bloomberg and all the other people, one of the things they used to cite, especially when the e-levy had not been passed, was that government is still struggling to implement its major revenue mobilization measure, which is e-levy. So people were even saying that our government is not even powerful enough to implement its own revenue generation model. So government needed to pass e-levy, definitely, so that the international market would see that at least they are in control. They can still take some very drastic measures. So that's just one mix in the pot. So I think that the real reason why they did this was for people to be able to see that, look, we can generate revenue internally, even though that may not be the most ideal, and I think it's not the most ideal. I also think that the opposition to be a bit, if I were an advisor to President Mahama, I would be hesitant to say that the NDC will cancel e-levy when it comes to government. It's easy to miss what you don't have, So we didn't have e-levy, so you can easily say that because you don't have it. But once it becomes an important part of your revenue mix, and you come into government and you say, okay, I'm getting this from here, I'm getting this from here, I'm getting this amount. It may not be the biggest, but you know that if you take it, you are losing something. Governments are usually very hesitant to close the taps where the money is coming in. That's why even though our president was one of the biggest demonstrators against the introduction of the value-added tax, which is one of his claims to fame, Kumi Preko, was all about VAT. When the MPP came into power, they never cancelled VAT. In fact, VAT has consistently been increased, over the years, because we run an economy in such a way that government has to rely largely on these how do you call
revenues.
it? Value added taxes. And I always say that, look, when people say that Ghanaians don't pay taxes, maybe you may talk about income taxes, but we all pay taxes. If you bought trotro, you pay taxes, because the fare of your trotro is calculated based on the amount of fuel that the trotro buys, and that fuel that the trotro buys, there are a lot of taxes on fuel. So government has to use a lot of indirect taxes, in order to mobilize revenue for the economy. So in one way or the other, we all pay, taxes. Yes, a lot of people don't have regular incomes in this country. So when you don't have regular incomes coming in, it may be difficult to have a large pool of regular income taxpayers, because largely the economy is informal. And I know that there's a lot of talk of how do we, tax the informal economy. It's something that we are still trying to wrap our mind again. So government's best bet is always indirect taxes. So this, kind of e-levy, in a way, it's a form of indirect, because it's not based on real value or transaction. It's just they are taxing money in your pocket, because government needs that money. But it will become such an important part of our revenue mix that I fear that it may be very difficult. It will take some kind of strength for any government to say, I'm closing this. So in general,
especially when there's a possibility it might get better, and Ghanaians might get used to it. I mean, after all the other taxes, we are used to them already anyway.
No, I think that we don't have a choice. So government betted on this. Government knew that, look, initially there will be a reduction in transaction, but the digital economy is become such an integral part of our lives that we may not have a choice than to actually pay this e-levy. What I'll say is that at the end of the day, it's about how robust our economy is. That's what it boils down to: how robust our economy is, how much value we are creating in the economy. That's how we are going to be able to avoid things like e-levy. That's where the creative industry comes in, and that's how I'm going to connect it to the e-levy. The reason why our economy is also not as robust is that we've been doing the same thing over the years. And I think that even the politicians themselves know this. We've been relying on gold, cocoa, and oil. The foundation of our economy hasn't changed much. Maybe we can say that the service industry is now going up. But really, if you take our gold, cocoa, and natural resources out, we may not have enough. In fact, we don't even have enough to run with. So what it means is that we have to expand this economy beyond what we are used to. And how do we expand this economy? That's why one of the favorite topics on this show is that the creative industry, allied to tourism and other places, is one of the sectors that can help, enlarging and make our economies bigger. The things that we are not really thinking. I know that nowadays, government is paying a bit more attention, but I think that we still need a radical approach. And on that note, surprisingly, I would agree with, there's a voice note that came out recently.
Paying attention to the creative industry.
Pardon?
Government is paying attention.
No, I'm saying that as compared to, right now, from the past, for the past decade, we've had more conversations and forcing government to acknowledge the creative industry. But my main point is that it is not nearly enough.
Increasing awareness,
but it is not nearly enough.
It is not nearly
and
enough.
that's tied to the point I was going to make with Kennedy Japan. There was a voice note that came out recently. He says if he gets the chance to be the president of this country, he will focus on tourism. I have always said that. I would know that the government has really worked if that government comes and says, look, tourism was like our fifth or sixth, or this sector of the economy was like our fifth or sixth earner, and we have managed to make it that number one. That means that some thinking, some hard work has gone in place. We should manage this economy as if we don't have gold, oil, and cocoa. If we don't have any of these natural resources, what other things can we use to create value and expand
Chief,
our
and
economy?
you're right, absolutely right. I would agree with you on a number of the things that you have said. And for me, what's even key, look, when Philip and I were handed this program, there was a conscious decision we made. And sometimes I make a joke that this show is not about Witimi Wakame. Someone went for
sensational thing.
Or
the things that I said that.
And we agree that if we are going to have out of 35 million people, or let's even focus on Accra. Accra, what's the population now? 5 million, 6 million? If out of the
5 million now?
It was 4 million. So let's say 5 million. Out of the 5 million, if we're going to have 5,000 listen to relevance on this show, listen to the important subject matters, and the rest of the 4 point whatever million will listen to Witimi Wakame, that is fine. Because you see, somebody needs to use prime time, relevant airtime, to churn out some of the things that we churn out on this show. It is not by accident that this company would invest in this team, going all the way to the Cape Coast Castle to transmit live from there because it's Independence Day, or go all the way to the Kumasi Cultural Center to transmit live from there, or consistently, weekly, embark on topics that look at the education that has been had on this show today. A lot of the things that creatives didn't know, and a lot of creatives would take to their social media and bash government for e-levy, when they didn't even know that there's so much that you could be exempt from and all that. No, I mean,
because I mean, it's not only the industry.
So where I'm going is, I would expect.
It's not just.
I mean, if I were, I would expect that. Look, a show like this is one to align to, so that if government is maybe moving. I hear recently there was a visit to Tyler Perry Studios. I would pick at least one of the panel members from this show. If there's something we want to implement, you know, it doesn't, you know, because look, Osaje for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah did take the creatives very seriously, and he had arts teams moving with him on some of his tours. These are some of the things that I would expect to be done.
The film company was established by him.
It was established by. These are some of the things that I would expect to be done. You understand? So it is not by accident that consistently we choose to educate, inspire, and inform with this show. It is because we believe that the creatives play a key role in shaping up government's entire agenda, in helping grow the nation, helping nurture the nation. It is the next frontier of growth. So it is about time we consistently look consciously look at the creatives.
In fact, I mean, from everything, from your national flag to your national anthem to your coat of arms and everything, the creative industry has set your statehood.
Exactly. So and I would encourage other shows. Let us all add our voice, because if we can change this nation, what you said simply means that you cannot consistently do the same thing over and again, expect different results. Yeah. So isn't it about time we looked elsewhere? And for us, that place to look at is the creative space.
Maybe we should make them see. I always say that. Okay.
We've made them see, and also they know. I've been touting and saying this, and this is the uptime time I'm talking about. As at October 2020, when the National Education Authority had done their the registrations by then, and there was a compilation of top 10 professions that people indicated they were, for instance, and about 2 or 3 of them were all creative industry jobs. You know, but because we've not harmonized it and connected it, for instance, people may not know. People do not know that tailors, seamstress, all of these people are all part, hairdressers and all of that are all part of the creative industry. You know, so it's not been amplified enough. But
we have the biggest concentration of entrepreneurs.
Yes, I mean, the Hairdressers Association of Ghana at a certain point in time, they had about 44,000 people. You know, and so if we're able to generate, sometimes you need to point these numbers to them and say, these are the numbers that currently exist in the industry. Beyond the numbers that currently exist in the industry, this is the characteristics of an industry and the opportunity it creates for younger people. Today, a younger person could actually even become one of the fastest industries where a younger person could become an entrepreneur right from school is the creative industry. You come from NAFTI. Once you have your camera, you start to shoot music videos or anything like that. A lot of people that created ad agencies and everything came from there. They started by shooting music videos. They came on the Astuces of the world, who have become thought leaders in the television and audiovisual industry. All came from such systems. You know, there are a number of us that, right from communication school, started by creating content, writing commercials, came, and today, look at what we're all doing.
Enough of youth in agric. You know, we are tired of the concept of youth in agric. And let me finalize on this point.
No, before you finalize, let me open the phone lines at 0302 216 541. If there's anybody who would like to contribute to all the things that we've discussed today, we're still hoping would be joined by the Honorable Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture. Yes, I think he had to go to the constituency, so he said he would do well to join us. We hope he's able to make it before.
George, you know, for a very long time we've run a youth in agric campaign, sort of. I always say that young people are looking for jobs. It doesn't matter where the jobs is. If there are jobs in agriculture, young people will go there. If we have proper industry set up in agriculture, farming is expensive. We don't expect, if that's your passion, you can go and be an entrepreneur, but it will not be easy to find a lot of young people being entrepreneurs in agriculture. When you go to Europe, in America, in China, you don't hear them running any campaign about youth in agriculture. Agriculture has said that we need people with resources in this country to invest and, you know, and then employ the young people. But you have a lot of policy and work going into youth in agriculture, which is not bad, but I'm saying that you don't need to force your young people to be going go into agriculture. They will go there if the opportunities are there. However, where we find the largest concentration of entrepreneurs, we don't really have a coherent policy support plan, whether it's from government, whether it's from donor agencies, whether it's our banking. But you talk about youth and entrepreneurship. Your largest concentration of entrepreneurs are in the creative sector. And when we say the creative sector, people have this perception is just concert, is music and dance. Look, it's serious. Everybody,
the hairdresser
look at the
is
fashion
in the
industry.
The fashion, the
digital
tailor, the
industry
designer.
Because where it's easy for young people to start businesses are where that you don't need much capital, right? So with just your talent, your ability, you can start a business with little to no capital. These are the areas we have to look at for growth. These are the growth sectors. I've already said that, look, as for our natural resources, they are out of our hands. The big companies, all the mining companies and all of that, these are multilateral investments. Ghana has 10%, royalty and the little income tax that we make. So that is out of our hands. Where we have control now are those intangible resources, our creative resources. So I want to see how the finance minister announced 100 billion, whatever about Tampa. We want to see 100 billion ambitious plan for the creative sector. We know that things can change rapidly.
Let's go to the phone lines. Who do we have here? Hello?
Hello, Kwesi J.
Kwesi J, talk to us. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon. Since the president listens to the show, this is what I want to say to him. The e-levy, he said he will account for it. That one there, he has no choice. But he should bear in mind that if he buys shoe and they say this is e-levy benefit, we will ask him how much the shoe was bought. If he builds a school, we will ask him how much the school was built for. Because we know something that you go and buy 1 Ghana cedi, I buy better on 10 cedis. No, they are basic. It doesn't make sense. So he should put that in mind too. We won't take any overpricing thing again, especially with e-levy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Okay, those were thoughts from one of our listeners. It's pretty interesting. It's very, very interesting. And some messages are also coming in. This one simply says hello. Your messages are coming in on 055 1111997, and then of course your calls are coming in on 0302216541. Later tonight, the UEFA Champions League comes to an end. Uncle Kennedy, your Liverpool.
Yeah.
How is it gonna go?
Before we get to Liverpool,
yes, let me hear you.
Something more important.
To say. Yes, please.
Something very
important to say. Please. Yes.
Did any of us know?
Yes.
That our minister for tourism. Was in New York.
Okay.
No.
Recently.
Okay.
Conferring on the mayor of New York conferring on the mayor of New York as a tourism ambassador for Ghana.
Okay.
No, what was that?
Now, a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
The mayor of New York, Mr. Eric Adams, has expressed his determination to support Ghana's tourism drive aimed at making the country the tourism hub of Africa.
That's good news.
In this regard, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture and the Office of the New York Mayor will work out joint strategies to achieve the desired results.
Interesting.
Mr. Adams was speaking after the conferment of the title of a tourism ambassador bestowed on him by the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, in New York at the weekend. This was last week.
Okay.
Yeah. On the sideline of a Global Citizen Prize and Summit. Now, I'm saying that this minister, since he came into office, has been doing a lot.
Yeah.
But my problem is, I have not heard
it's not
him
out there
on any
platform.
Maybe he should start to work in science.
On any platform telling us some of the things that he's been doing.
Uncle Ken, could it be he's one of those who are like, let my work speak for me?
No, but
like how you are speaking for him.
You know?
But if I hadn't spoken about it today,
a lot of people wouldn't have.
But I mean, why do we need know, Uncle Ken? It's about the impact.
Yes,
just conferring an ambassadorial title.
So that we can also check. If it made any impact.
Because the
gentleman, hold on. Let me quickly go to the phone lines. He's been waiting for a while. Hello.
Hello, George.
Yes, sir. A name and where you calling us from? Good evening.
My name is Shadi, calling from Malam.
Shadi, talk to us.
I've been your discussion, and I'm enjoying my basketball, but I wanted to, put it.
Your line is pretty unstable. Hello? Oh dear, how unfortunate. His line is not helping us. Let's see who is here. Hello?
I
Yes.
believe there is job in Ghana. You understand?
Yes.
You create something for yourself and you are looking for space to market it. And you are not getting the space. You go here, this one says, I'm selling slippers. There is no space. You go to this person, oh, let me judge myself. I have this machine. I want to do some marketing, maybe pineapple juice, this. And the person say there is no space. So I believe if there is a way we can create a section or market section that will benefit some of us. Because some of us, we have the idea. We have the machines. Right now, I'm having machine inside. I'm looking for space to market it. I didn't get a space.
What machine do you have?
That's what I say I want to contribute on.
What machine do you have?
I'm having pineapple juicer machine, sugarcane juicer machine. Down.
Okay.
I even work to people who don't have work. I tell them, this is what I'm having. Kindly come, I'll handle the machine over to you. Work. Every day, if I make 5 CD of it, I'll be okay. And the person look at my appearance, and he or she ignores. About 20 different people. So, that's the issue we have in Ghana here.
Then change your appearance.
Change my appearance.
That's just a joke. Don't mind me. Glad you caught the joke in there. All right. Yes. Good point there. Hello.
Hello, George.
Yes, sir. Name and where you're calling us from.
Shadi calling from Malam.
Shadi, talk to us.
Yes. You said all. But one thing that I wanted to tell you guys is that our tourist site, what we are lacking is maintenance. Sometimes you don't have washrooms. Sometimes you go there, like painting or something to maintain or to make the place look attractive. No. Just Kowe alone, back at 2019, they discovered about 6 tourist sites, including waterfalls, some caves, and some other things. I've never heard anyone talking about it. People come, they go to Peoples, they go to, Saturday and all. I just want people to know about Kowe. Kowe has the most beautiful tourist sites in Ghana. And Kowe alone, you can find about 6 or 8 tourist sites there.
Okay.
So people have to, make something out of it.
We'll make, all right.
People.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Do we have anybody else on the line yet? Hello? Okay, not yet. Yes, gentlemen, we're coming back to the studio. Uncle Ken, you on the floor. Yes. So that point is very true. It would be nice we put some of these things that the ministry is doing out there. Yes,
there.
Yeah.
And it will be
and
nice
they're actually
if
doing
the
a lot.
minister himself comes out once in a while to speak to the media about such happenings.
George, just this past week, we were
Maybe he's waiting
invited
for
by
the impact before he
Canadian High
communicates it.
Commissioner to an interactive session with some Canadian MPs.
Yeah.
So some of us in the culture industry, I was there with Uncle Ibo White, Sadiq, is it Sadiq?
Latif.
Yeah.
Even Becca and Co were all there. And I just made an observation, right? In my 15 years career, I've had these kinds of invitations
From
ambassadors,
the embassies,
from
exactly.
the embassy.
Yeah.
Never once
foreign
have I been
organizations.
invited by any of our own leaders, our political. So we're just discussing it with Uncle Ibo White. Why is it that in the creative space, the people that we actually talk to who want to know what is happening in the space,
Are always the foreigners.
always the foreign ones.
'Cause
Why
they-
is it that
they
once a
appreciate
while
and value
the
it.
minister will not call, let me host, this will come to my house, let's have the discussion. I've always wondered why. And these people are picking important information. I have a friend who used to say that he doesn't even think his own government knows he exists. He once applied for Yali, and since then, every time he's getting emails, this is the program, come and do this, come and do this. Email that from any government to do anything.
I will tell you why. Uncle
No,
Ken,
no,
and this
you
is
want-
a
you want to go
personal
back to the last
experience.
one.
This is a personal
Yes.
experience, and I will not mention names specifics.
Okay.
But there is a government official in ministry who,
Which
on
ministry?
one of the
Which
occasions,
ministry?
like I said, I'll not go into specifics.
Okay.
Who
So you're not even mentioning
on-
the
Oh, no,
No.
he's making a point. I just
who
want to hear the
on one
person.
of the occasions gave a speech, and in the speech he dared mention a few names. Others in the same sector went to attack him, and the names you mentioned, the people you mentioned, who are they? Who are they? When some of us exist, you go and mention other people's names. So would you? So trust me, some of
I
our
get your
government
point.
officials are
very
being
careful.
George,
playing safe.
I disagree.
But
You are
because I
oversimplifying
can also
this.
tell you
I'm
on
talking about a
authority.
general
No.
cultural thing about our governance. So
yes.
not even just
That
about
is
the
where the
creative
problem
space.
is.
Not even just about
Yeah.
the
No,
creative
so you're
because
speaking
what
about
is-
how
just foreign countries and foreign embassies are engaging the youth
Chief,
on a regular basis,
Chief.
you know, to get their mindset and our own political establishment. I'm not even talking about just this, just generally. We don't have that
Generally,
Chief,
culture
your point
of engagement.
is well made.
Yes.
Do you see how the French ambassador
Yes, yes,
is
yes.
gaining so much
yes.
publicity?
I mean, it should be. I mean, obviously,
Why do you
that's
think
not our
she's
media
doing
style.
that? She's
The new-
gaining so much
The
publicity.
new language of diplomacy is art.
And
Yes,
John
it's
Benjamin
always-
started this whole kind
Yeah.
of frontal.
Arts, yeah.
The Australian
The Australian
ambassador
embassy.
came. So I think that there's
Anyway,
just
we
something
have to wrap it
about
up.
our system that we know we need to begin to change these things. We have to engage the rank and file. You know, talk to them, know what is happening, pick up intelligence,
It's
see
about
what you can
television,
do
yeah.
for the people on the ground. Because governance is such that you are in an ivory tower.
Yeah.
That is why I don't believe that any government deserves a 12 years. Because by the time the government gets to 12 years, it is spoilt. After 8 years, people become arrogant. They lose perspective because they are in a bubble. They are insulated from the realities of the country.
That is your personal
No,
opinion.
no, yes, it's a philosophical opinion.
Sadiq
I
will
don't
not
think
agree
that
with
the
you.
But who
people
told
in
you?
this
I
country.
agree 100%.
I don't think that, George. I
I
don't think
agree
that we have the
Yes, yes,
capacity.
I agree.
And I saw this, and I had, and Sadiq, I
what
used
I
to
said.
discuss this. You see, I don't think that we have the
Chief.
capacity, the personal power
Said something I
to
wanted
be
add
able
on.
to control power for more than 8 years. I think it's
that
so.
is-
For
that is your
philosophically,
personal
I think
opinion.
that that's why it's good for our democracy. You know, so
Chief.
when the NDC had done the 8 years,
Chief, you-
I was having a discussion with my friend. I was like, especially some of the young people who had gotten into power. And I mean, Sadiq, you know, the pomposity
Chief.
and all of that.
Chief, it's
There's a
okay.
lot of-
Humility is
okay.
important
It's
to
okay.
politics.
It's okay. It's okay. Your microphone is off. Your microphone. Yes, Uncle Ken.
George.
Uh-huh.
As president of ATWA,
Atwag.
Yes.
you just said something that has always been an issue I want to bring up.
True.
And in the midst of the, in the midst of
I know somebody that raised the same issue on social media. I can go ahead.
In the midst of the personalities in this studio,
Yes.
I think I can get an answer tonight.
You should.
To my problem.
You should.
You just said something. When Chief made the point he was driving at, you said to him, "That's your personal opinion."
But isn't it?
Didn't you say that?
Yes, I did.
And you repeated it. Now my point is, your personal opinion, is it not tautology?
Oh.
Oh, I'm again. You swept us all.
We say, I can.
Say boom boom boom, the whip about to say well. They say boom boom boom, now let me hear say well. They say boom boom boom, the whip about to say well.
It's Showbiz A. It's Showbiz A to Z. It's Showbiz A to Z.
Super Hits Radio. Joy 99.7.
Your time 47 after 17. It's gonna be a sporty evening. Real Madrid is gonna discipline Liverpool. Uncle Ken, you don't agree?
No.
Because
Why don't you agree?
Yeah, you try. This is not a sports show.
It is my personal
We
opinion.
are discussing
Sports
the
and entertainment.
national development through the lens
sports
of
and
the
entertainment.
arts.
Sports and
Uncle Ken,
entertainment.
I said it is my personal opinion that Real Madrid will win.
But George, you know something.
You're very
You know,
right, actually. Yeah.
On this personal opinion thing,
Yeah.
Chief just made a point that I think I agree with too.
Yeah.
Because in certain circumstances, you need to come out to differentiate whether it's your opinion or an opinion of a group.
Okay.
So in that instance, I think if you say this is my personal
opinion.
Exactly.
It will be right.
You are
Exactly.
qualifying.
Exactly.
You are qualifying
it.
the
Exactly.
opinion.
Thank you.
Yes.
for raising
Exactly.
that point.
And I was going to go into even
What's my
if you
opinion?
want to debate it, Chief represents a group. He could be speaking the mind of the group.
the group.
That is why sometimes
You
you
say
need
it's
to
your
add
opinion.
personal. It is
Your in this
mine.
case could mean the group.
Yes,
So you said
your
okay.
could be
The
because
revolution.
you know, metonymy and all those things. You could be using a part to represent a whole, you know, and all that. So you need to,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
give that emphasis. So
I think
it
as
may not
president of
necessarily.
Atwag,
Yeah.
sometimes we need to debate and talk about the English language that is used on social media.
No, that's
by
actually
your
a topic.
bloggers.
That is actually a topic we need to.
Well,
but
that's a whole topic.
that's a
we can
topic on its
discuss.
own. But
Yes,
Uncle
yes,
Ken,
it's
let's
about-
understand that when I'm seated here, I don't know Atwag.
Oh, no,
If
but-
Atwag
but-
does
but
something
we
wrong,
can't
I will
hide-
bring it for us to table it.
We
Yes.
can't hide from the fact that you
Definitely.
are president of Atwag.
No, we can't, and we won't. So we will discuss it. It's a very solid
Thank you.
topic. It's a very, very solid topic. Just saying that so we know that when it's an Atwag topic, I will not take sides. I'll still be George Quay.
Oh, of course.
We'll
of
be
course.
neutral.
I mean, you're a professional at what you do.
Thank you very
So,
much.
George, to finalize,
So we're
my
done.
thoughts,
We're done. Yeah.
my
Finalize your
personal opinion
yes. You,
on the need on the need for perspective. You know, there's something called the echo chamber. You know, that's when you are with a group of like-minded people.
Exactly.
So for example, if you are someone who finds yourself in governance and you're in like-minded people, oh, we are doing well. Sometimes you lose perspective.
True.
So it is important that those of our political leaders who come into office find ways of interacting, informal ways beyond the echo chamber, so that they can get perspective. One of the things I used to like, and I think our governments should do that. You know, the Obama Dems, you know, they would host, you know, poetry sessions, music. I don't think it's bad if the Flagstaff House
Not
once
at
a
all.
while,
Not
you know,
at
we
all.
bring some of our old musicians.
Not at
Last year
all.
we were trying to raise support to celebrate Eja Konimo at 90. You know, it will surprise you that was very difficult. You
It
know,
will be.
to do, because we wanted to do like a theatrical performance and do a number of activities. So I think that one of the ways to send positive signals, you know, and I think that Nana, who is a good host, can do that. Our president, you know, she hosts once a while, every quarter there should be something happening at the gardens of the Flagstaff House, you know. And Sadiq, so in
Yeah.
case you also find yourself close to the corridors of power, these are some of the ideas. But for me, most importantly, I want to see a $10 billion Obatampa program for the
Point
creative
well.
arts
Point
to
well.
make it the biggest, you know, employer and earner for our country.
Thank you very much. Uncle Ken, there's a message for you.
Oh,
From the Say It Right team. Please tell Uncle Ken that personal opinion is not tautology.
Okay.
You can have a professional opinion, a religious opinion, even a family opinion on an ideological opinion, or an ideological opinion on a political opinion, or a political opinion. So saying personal opinion is merely specifying what type of opinion you are sharing.
But George-
and that is how you say it right.
but George, tell the person.
It's from Kojo Youngson.
But tell Kojo,
Yeah.
that's why when Chief raised that point,
Yes.
I came back to say I agree with Chief that in certain circumstances it could be right.
Or sometimes it's just for emphasis, just to make
Yes.
people know that look, I
In
really,
certain
I strongly believe
circumstances, it could be right.
in this, in what
Chief,
I'm
did
trying
I
to
not say so?
No, you consider that.
Yes, I considered that.
So
No,
But
but
most-
it's good. It's good. It's
Most
good.
often
It's good.
when people
you
use it,
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
you.
The
Gentlemen,
context
we're
is
going. Thank you very much. Uncle Ken, so how's the night going to be for you?
it's a victory for Liverpool.
Is it now?
Yes.
Sadiq, what do you think?
You
He's
know,
back
when
in
I came
Liverpool.
in, I was back in Liverpool, and I told Uncle Ken I'm back in Liverpool. He told me to go away, so I'm taking my support. He said, "Go away."
I am going back to watch last year's State of the Nation address.
I'll support Liverpool.
State of the Nation address.
Okay.
I'll
Because
support
I can't
Liverpool.
identify with what is currently happening.
I'll support Liverpool because of Uncle Ken today.
Okay. Now,
Oh yes, something is happening in Kumasi actually.
what is
I
that?
hear there's a huge rainstorm.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a wound to me rainstorm.
Oh, he's winning.
Well, we don't know if he's winning or not, but I think that the signals are that
he might be losing.
he might not be breaking his 6, or I don't know how many years he's been.
Breaking his 8.
He's 8. No, has he been there for 2 times already?
Yeah, 2
But
times.
George,
Oh, okay.
Yes, Uncle Ken.
I think you should recommend Chief
For this one.
for news file or the Super Morning Show.
You know, we're having a discussion.
We finished. we finished discussing. We are moving him from this show. You should go and join.
But
Samson Ladi.
that's one of the
Yeah.
unique things about this particular
Exactly.
show.
Yeah, I mean,
the
exactly.
flexibility with which we
blend,
can
yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
And that's often what's missing in a lot of the entertainment
Yes.
shows. Connect issues of national importance to connect it to the creative industry and all of those things. And I'm sure these are the things that a lot of the listeners appreciate. The fact that we've been able to bring it to their, to the understanding, which is something that doesn't happen on other shows.
George, finally, please invite Kennedy Japan to the show. Let's talk about his presidential ambition for tourism.
Okay.
Because what we'll be doing is that we'll be highlighting that conversation.
Okay.
And once it begins to gain traction, the other politicians.
I saw that video. He supported with a lot of things that he said and things that.
If for nothing at all, we can begin influencing narratives.
But gentlemen, May is out. May has been a very interesting month.
So next week we're in June.
There've been tigers, there've been forests, there've been slangs.
Oh, you know, I told you I passed through Achimota Forest before coming.
Slangs.
That's another one.
That's another conversation.
That's another one.
You know, in fact, we have to talk about Achimota Forest.
We say slangs or slang.
You know, slangs is the slangs pronunciation of slangs.
No, let me have the final bite. Let me have the final bite. I think we also need to recommend Uncle
You are either slanging
or you are.
Or you are not.
George,
Thank you.
George, I'm also taking inspiration from Uncle Ken. I think we need to recommend him to the Sage, right, Steve?
That's all.
Uncle Ken, talk about slang. There's been a video of a member of parliament who's been in the US for 6 months, and her accent is undergoing.
Slangs or slang?
It's no longer
Gentlemen,
my party. It's no longer my party. It's now my party.
Thank you very much. And that would be our show. Sports team coming to take over.